So, I have made 3 video essays now about the MCU, and when I dive deeper into Phase 4 and the universe as a whole, I find more things that I want to talk about. More things that have been brought to my attention that I want to give my opinion on. And as you can see by the title of today's essay is on Love and Thunder. This will be the first part of 2 where I discuss the flaws of Thor Love and Thunder, and specifically, this first part will be focusing on the writing aspect of the film. I have a weird relationship with Thor Love and Thunder, and it's the same feeling I get when I watch something like TASM 2. The film, from an individual aspect, could have been a fantastic story with lots of heart, emotion, grief, exploring the aspects of Thor's life in the deepest manner after the trauma he was put through in Endgame and Infinity War. I think Love and Thunder was a massive missed opportunity because the film wasn't great. I'm a massive advocate of saying if you like something that I don't like or vice versa, that's completely fine. But Thor Love and Thunder I think is one of those things that objectively got it wrong and got the short end of the stick in terms of storytelling, and in today's first part I'm going to be explaining why by discussing 3 points of writing debate within the film. So without further ado, let's get to the main man himself, Thor. Thor in this film is completely inconsistent with what came before. Infinity War and Endgame pushed Thor to his physical and emotional limit, and Thor Love and Thunder did nothing to explore this trauma. Even the film itself was about him losing another person he loved, but we got shown nothing of how Thor handled himself after the death of his brother, Heimdall, half of Asgard. But instead got scenes retconned into the canon of the MCU to respark a relationship with Jane Foster for the sake of making her death more impactful. What I think would have been more impactful overall would have been to show how Thor deals with the trauma he's been put through, how he handles it, who he takes it out on. This could have perfectly paralleled Gorr's arc too, after Gorr lost everything and everyone. Maybe Thor actually relates with Gorr in this way. Maybe there is some sort of connection between the two. But I feel like we got none of this. We got nothing other than a mess of a man who makes jokes every other sentence. It's pathetic, honestly. In my opinion, apart from Spider-Man, Thor is the most emotionally viable character the MCU has at their disposal. And the fact that they didn't use Thor's past to their advantage here really shows the care they put into this screenplay. And because they straight up ignore everything that happened to Thor, there is no emotional stakes, nothing that I feel like connects or drives the characters forward. Not to mention the really inconsistent power levels Thor has too. How the hell are you only just telling us that Thor has the ability to turn anyone into a Thor right now? It's not even like they gave a good explanation to why he didn't do this in Infinity War or New York or in Sokovia. He could have literally saved the entire universe with ease, and Endgame would have never happened. And by the way, for everyone that's saying it was Zeus's thunderbolt that allowed the kids to get their powers, this is just simply not true. Thor did not say, "I now give you the power of Zeus." He says, "I now allow you for a limited time only to give you the power of Thor." Which means Thor is sharing his powers, not Zeus. Which means Zeus's weapon has nothing to do with the kids getting powers. Imagine all the Avengers having the power of Thor. Thanos' purple ass wouldn't have stood a chance. Not only this power was never even discussed anywhere prior to the moment where all the kids turned into Thor. This literally just seems like the writers came up with this on the spot because they couldn't find another way of how Thor could beat Gorr. The same sort of thing happened in Multiverse of Madness when Doctor Strange happened to step into one universe that happened to have a memory portal thing that so happened to give him crucial information that would push the plot forward, instead of the information coming from a character pursuing their goal. It's the exact same lazy writing that the MCU has come accustomed to, and Thor is one of the worst examples for it. It's inconsistent, it's lazy, and straight up poor writing. Let's move on to Korg. Korg was one of those characters that really worked as a comedic part of Ragnarok, but here, he's just annoying, man. Just saying, Korg should have died in that arena scene. This film already had no emotional stakes as it is, but one thing they could have done is killed Korg here. Although his character hasn't contributed much for his death to mean anything, it would increase the emotional stakes of the film. One of the gods killing one of Thor's best friends would have elevated the whole story to a whole different level. Not only would it introduce emotional stakes to the film, but it would also increase the tension between Thor and Gorr too. You wonder why? Well, let me tell you. Gorr hates all gods and believes they should be eradicated from the universe. Thor doesn't agree with this and thinks Gorr is pure evil. But what if one of the so-called gods that Gorr was speaking of killed one of the people that is closest to Thor? Surely this would put Thor in a difficult place, almost agreeing with Gorr. It would create an interesting relationship between the two, where Gorr is actually right. Gods aren't good, and Thor would have to separate himself from that distinction and have to reinvent what it means to be a god in the MCU. Obviously, what Gorr is doing isn't right, but after all is said and done, Thor would have had realized that Gorr was right. And then maybe it's Thor's role going forward in the MCU to take up the mantle of Zeus and maybe redefine what it means to be a god. I'm going quite deep with this now, but you get the point. If Korg had actually died, his death would have made such a major impact that his character would have significantly benefited from it. Now, I've spoken a lot about Gorr so far this video already, but sorry to say, he's also a very poorly written character. Not even Christian Bale can save him. I know a lot of people place Gorr in a higher regard than some of the other characters in this film, but Gorr genuinely is such a wasted character. His introduction felt forced, and yeah, it was quite convenient, but it was necessary exposition to line his character up for the rest of the film, so we can give it a pass. Fair enough. But how was he handled for the rest of the film? Not so good. Gorr has been butchered by this film, and once again, a massive missed opportunity. Not once, other than the opening sequence, did we see Gorr kill another god. He's the freaking God Butcher that doesn't kill gods! Gorr, the guy who says he's a God Butcher, doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? You know that one rule in storytelling? Show, don't tell? Yeah, Gorr is the perfect example of how not to do this. We see Gorr kill a god at the beginning of the film, but that doesn't count because prior to this, we've literally just been told his motivations as to why he's about to brutally murder this god. But later on in the film, it's like the writers forgot about him. They were too busy making jokes about two flying goats that they forgot they actually had to show the villain doing what the villain frickin' does. It makes me so mad because Gorr is a great villain in the comics and was so underutilized in this film. I imagine if they showed him killing a bunch of gods throughout the film on the way to getting to Thor, who could have been his final destination and challenge, I imagine that it would have made his overlooming presence on the film so much scarier and frightening, creating a sense of urgency that Thor and the gang have to do something before Gorr kills every single last god, including him. But no, he kidnaps some kids instead. Typical God Butcher stuff if you ask me. I hate the fact that they wasted this character. Hey. What? Just to let you know, Gorr was actually trying to kill all the gods, but he was using Eternity to do it. Don't get me started on Eternity! Eternity is the dumbest, most convenient thing the MCU could have ever introduced. I do not care if it was in the comics, it's dumb there too. But in the MCU, it's even worse. Gorr the God Butcher needs a mystical entity to wipe out all gods, which I guess makes sense. But if he's been granted a magical god-killing sword, surely his role is to do it himself. Not to mention, Eternity's power of granting any wish completely screws the MCU up in so many ways. How are you telling me that Thor didn't go to Eternity during the 5-year time jump between Infinity War and Endgame? Oh well, Thor didn't know Eternity existed. Yes, he did. Oh well, Thor didn't know how to get to Eternity. If he knew about Eternity and knew it was a viable option to literally bring everyone back that has died, why didn't he try and find out how to get there? It's not like it would have taken him a freaking long time to find Eternity when Stormbreaker was literally the key the whole ass time. But not only that, why doesn't any other entity in the MCU's history or future ever seek Eternity to solve any of their problems? Eternity breaks the MCU on a storytelling and writing perspective. Ew, I'm gonna have to take a breather. It's getting hot in here. Stay tuned for part 2 next Monday. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button. And if you do enjoy my style of content, I upload Marvel video essays every Monday, Spider-Man fanfictions where we rewrite and we pre-write stories on a Wednesday, and on a Saturday, I catch you guys up with all of that week's Spider-Man news. And we post shorts every single day. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Once again, thank you all for watching and taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Take care, and peace.